Hello, my name is Michelle Glavick, and I am the co-founder of Diana Budisavljevic International Research Foundation. I'm so honored to have you here listening to me today or tonight, wherever you happen to be in the world. I'm so happy to share with you about Diana Budisavljevic, or as we call her, Diana B, if that last name is too hard for you to pronounce. So we decided to make this organization after Diana B. So who was Diana B? Well, she was an extraordinary individual. She lived in World War II. And the really cool thing about her is that she saved more people than Oskar Schindler did. Many people are aware about Oskar Schindler because of the movie Schindler's List. And this lady, Diana, saved a lot more people than Oskar Schindler. But wait, there's more. She also saved more people than Irene Sendler. You know, the woman in Poland who also saved Jews during the Holocaust. Well, Diana B saved more people than Irene Sendler as well. And actually, she saved more people than Oskar Schindler and Irene Sendler combined. So that is the scope and magnitude of Diana B. And in fact, she saved thousands more than they did combined. So we're talking about a legendary individual, right? She has saved more people than both of these heroic people that we've all heard about. She saved more. She actually saved around 10,000 people, Diana B. And where did she do this? She did this in the fascist state in the Balkans called the independent state of Croatia, which by many reports was actually one of the very worst places you could be in the war, which is obviously saying a whole lot. Because many observers, and including the Nazi Germans themselves, decried the brutalism of the Ustaše. They were renowned for their sadism. So she did it in an area that was arguably one of the worst in all of World War II. And again, this was the independent state of Croatia, which again was a fascist puppet state headed by Ante Pavelic, but was ultimately propped up by Adolf Hitler and Mussolini. So she did save this remarkable amount of people, and actually, most of the people, well, all of them were children, and virtually all of them were Serbian Orthodox. So there was a massive genocide that happened in the Balkans, that happened in this fascist puppet state, again, the independent state of Croatia, and it took the lives of anywhere from 500,000 to 700,000 Serbian Orthodox, which far dwarfs any genocide numbers that happened in the Yugoslav wars and Balkan wars combined. That is the magnitude we're talking about when we talk about the World War II genocides that occurred in the Western Balkans. And again, the prime victim was the Serbian Orthodox, and this is based on actual numbers and per capita numbers. There were also other genocides that were happening against all groups, and they were being committed by all groups. But the largest one that was happening was actually done by the fascists, primarily the Croatian Ustaše, against the Serbian Orthodox populations. And these were especially populations living in the historic border regions or frontier regions of the former Austrian Empire, and that area was called the Krajina. Because hundreds of years ago, the Austrian Habsburgs imported more and more Serbs in the Great Migrations of Serbs to these frontier border regions to defend the Austrian Empire from the Muslim Ottomans. And by World War II time, the Croatians were trying to develop nationhood and had obviously been swept away by fascism. And the Serbian Orthodox were effectively scapegoated for all of the region's problems. And Hundreds of thousands of innocent people paid the price for that terrible ideology. Absolutely brutal. And it was really tragic what happened, as 75,000 children were murdered in World War II by the Croatian Ustaše. And in terms of numbers, 1 in 5 to 1 in 3 Orthodox Serbs perished. Whole entire villages were wiped out. Whole entire last names are not around anymore because they were wiped out. They were murdered heinously, brutally, and sadistically. And it really was like a 20th century crusade. And in fact, many scholars and historians call it this, like Michelle F. Levy, and there are many others who have rightfully called it a 20th century crusade. This is because the Croatian Ustaše did not use modern killing methods like the gas chamber. They instead resorted to using pickaxes, knives, hammers, to club their victims to death, to mutilate them, to cut out their eyeballs, and have them essentially have a very drawn-out, excruciating death. And it absolutely was the worst time to be alive, in my opinion, as a historian, would have been living in the independent state of Croatia in World War II. It's right up there with brutality of the rape of Nanking and the genocide in Rwanda. It's right up there, if not even more brutal. And it is just ghastly what people will do when they're under the sway of really vile beliefs. And that is what we saw. But there was a shining light in all of this. And again, that goes back to Diana B. So Diana B was married to a Serbian surgeon, Dr. Julije Budisavljević from Zagreb. And she came from a well-off family and married, obviously, a surgeon, so she was quite well off herself. But she didn't use the war as a time to kick back and hide away. She actually used it as a time to stick her neck out on the line, literally, as she could have easily died for these beliefs. She used her power and sway for good by rescuing these children. And again, nobody made her do it. She obviously could have sat this one out, and she could have just had a relatively, easier life. But instead, she opted not to. She opted to save these children. She opted to undergo the largest humanitarian action undertaken by an individual in human history. And we in the West do not even have the decency to remember her. So that's why our organization exists, because we absolutely believe that Diana should be remembered. And keep in mind, she didn't do this for money, and she didn't do it for recognition. In fact, she never got any recognition. Not during the war, and not in the post-war Yugoslav socialist state either, because she wasn't after that. She was actually just a genuinely good person. She did not save the children for money, and in fact, she used her own money to save them. So we're talking about a truly, truly extraordinary. She's extraordinary even amongst extraordinary people, like I mentioned. She even stands above Schindler and Sendler. So that's saying a whole lot. And we absolutely believe that she should be remembered wholeheartedly, and we believe that that should be available to everybody. Not just Serbs, or not just Austrians or Croatians, but everybody, no matter where you are, should remember Diana, because she's worth it. She is worth it to remember, and hopefully, as we like to believe, she's worth it to emulate as well. So that's why our tagline is be brave, be your best, be like Diana B.